Coming up on Global Business, China's economy surpasses its annual GDP target and its contribution to global economic growth is expected to exceed 30% in 2023. AI technology takes center stage at the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos. Chinese Premier Li Qiang emphasizes broad prospects for China-Ireland relations during his official visit. Welcome to this edition of Global Business. I'm Xia Vandenberg. China's National Bureau of Statistics said Wednesday the country achieved its major expected targets last year despite a complex and uncertain external environment. CGTN's reporter Dai Kai-yi has more on the release of major economic data for 2023.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics show China's gross domestic product grew 5.2% year-on-year in 2023, marking a steady growth. It sees the recovery momentum continuing and the country's efforts with high-quality development paying off with solid progress.
Overall, in the year of 2023, China withstood external pressures, overcame internal challenges, witnessed a positive rebound in the national economy, and solidly advanced high-quality development, achieving its main expected goals satisfactorily.
Major sectors are on track for recovery. Industrial output rose by 4.6% year-on-year, and equipment manufacturing went up even faster, registering a 6.8% rise. By products, the production of solar cells, new energy vehicles, and power-generating units all saw a robust gain, with solar cells reaching over 50%. Total retail sales also show a strong upward momentum, up by 7.2%. Both basic living goods ranging from clothes, shoes to grain and oil, and upgraded goods such as gold, silver, and jewelry registered steady growth. Besides, investment in fixed assets scaled up in 2023, recording a 3% growth year-on-year. High-tech industries also witnessed a good growth trend, with investments in manufacturing of aerospace vehicle and equipment, office devices, and electronics all seeing growth of over 10%. Other than that, data in terms of imports and exports, grain production, consumer price index, and employment all remained stable.
China's economic growth rate of 5.2% in 2023 not only exceeded the expected global average growth rate of around 3%, but also ranked among the highest in major world economies. China's expected contribution to global economic growth in 2023 is anticipated to exceed 30%, making it the primary engine of world economic growth.
Officials say China's exports grew slightly despite global trade slowdowns, and prices also stayed at a reasonable level against the backdrop of high inflation in many other regions and countries. They say the country's positive growth momentum over the long run is still there. Officials say China still faces a complex, severe, and uncertain external environment. Domestically, there are challenges like overcapacity in certain industries, so they require careful management in maintaining that vitality of the economy and mitigate risks. CGTN, Beijing.
Matthias Schubert, Executive Vice President of Mobility, the leading tech service provider of TÜV Rheinland, said he is impressed by China's 2023 key economic data. He also expressed confidence in China's growth prospects.
It's impressive, and it doesn't come by chance. It's the result of some intelligent and some very thought-through political decisions that the country has taken over the last couple of years. Well, there's no reason to believe that China could be able to continue to grow. As I said, the basis is good. Strong consumer base, right orientation, a very, very solid industrial base.
To China's property sector, where new home prices in major cities fell in December compared to the previous month. Official data showed new home prices for the top 4 first-tier cities fell 0.4% month-on-month on average. Only Shanghai witnessed a slight increase. Second-hand home prices in 70 large and medium-sized cities also saw month-on-month declines in December. But notably, the declines have narrowed. Shanghai's property market ended 2023 on a high note as a series of supportive measures took effect. Data from a real estate brokerage company showed a 27% month-on-month increase in the number of sales of newly built homes in December, totaling around 80,000 units for the entire year. Our reporter Zhang Shixuan visited a real estate agency to learn more.
One of the updates to the housing policies in Shanghai has been to change the threshold that categorizes a unit as a luxury home from 140 to 144 square meters. One of the major differences between a luxury and a regular home is how much tax needs to be paid, with the former naturally being higher than the latter. The change in the threshold means more units are able to qualify as regular homes. Most of the properties handled by this real estate agency in Hongkou District are listed at 10 million yuan or more. They say they have received 30 or 40% more inquiries compared with the same period last year.
Previously, only houses in the inner ring area priced at 4.5 million yuan and below could recognized as a regular home. But within the Ruihong area, most of the two-bedrooms units are listed at more than 4.5 million yuan. With the new policy, many of them can be regarded as a regular home. On average, each house owner can save around 400,000 yuan in tax.
The aim of the tax reduction for home sellers is to make it easier for them to sell their properties.
Under the current situation, buyers also have more room for bargain. They can have a 15 or 20% reduction in price now. For each house, they can save 1 to 2 million yuan.
There's also been a reduction in mortgage rates in effect since the end of last year.
For first home buyers, the rate is kept at around 4.1%. Second home buyers in different places are benefiting from different policies. It's 4.5% in major urban areas. In suburban areas, it's 4.4%. While we saw sharp decline in market transactions previously, trading has started to stabilize. Though it's not yet back to active market status.
The People's Bank of China added 995 billion yuan worth of one-year medium-term lending facility loans to some financial institutions on Monday, but kept the policy rate unchanged. Experts estimate that 1-year and 5-year LPR will also remain unchanged this month.
The PBOC also want to keep some profit margin for the commercial banks, because if the long tenor rate continue to drop, but while the short tenor rates are keep unchanged, that would reduce the bank's profit margin, and probably is the banks maybe not willing to lend as much as project to the real economy. There might be some cuts in the second quarter. I think maybe not to move in the first quarter. But we also will have some infrastructure projects, some fiscal projects on the pipeline to come out. I think for this moment, the fiscal policy might be more important than the monetary policy.
In order to maintain reasonable and ample liquidity in the banking system, the central bank conducted 89 billion yuan of 7-day reverse repos at an interest rate of 1.8%. Zhang Shixuan, ICS for CGTN, Shanghai.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has called on local officials to foster quality growth in the financial sector. At a meeting with provincial-level officials, Xi outlined 6 key factors he believes could help boost China's financial market. They include a global financial center, a strong currency, a powerful central bank, great financial institutions, top talent, and stringent regulations. Xi also warned officials that any risk can throw previous efforts off track. Now, for more discussions on China's economic development and China's financial markets, we're joined by Liu Zhiqin, Senior Fellow at the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies of Renmin University of China. Professor Liu, good to see you. So first, what's the significance of President Xi's proposal of this 6 strings for building a financially strong nation?
I should say this meeting is very important, especially it happened in the first month of the year. That set out the target of the whole year for the financial industry in China. As we know that China has become already the second largest economy in the world, but the financial section is not the second largest one. That is not suitable with each other. So that's why that President Xi Jinping has emphasized again that the necessity that China should become, or should try its best to become, the strongest financial nation behind the other nations. So I think the 6th point for the strong points is very important, especially for strong currency and a strong central bank. Those 2 points are so most important, the priority to become a strong financial nation, especially for the strong currency and a strong central bank that combined together with the regulations and the governance of the currency, and also if the central bank has a good policy and supportive policy to guide the currency to support the real economy, as other countries has done, that China can become really in a short time the strongest economy. So we see that the great importance and the great significance that this meeting and the conference has sent out to the global market, especially for the Chinese financial section, because this meeting participants at the major provincial level. So this is quite essential for China.
Yeah, it's good to see that. Thank you so much, Professor Liu. Please do stay with us for more discussions later in the program. The 54th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum is underway in Davos, Switzerland. Under the theme Rebuilding Trust, the week-long meeting aims to restore collective agency, reinforce transparency, and construct dialogue between global leaders from government, business, and academia. Our special coverage of this year's Davos will explore how economies can reconstruct trust amid challenges. As global leaders gather in Davos, regaining trust in global technology cooperation is a hot topic this year. Now, for more on that, let's cross over to our reporter Xu Yi in Davos. Hi there, Xu Yi. So first, AI technology is a very hot topic at this year's Davos meeting. What's your takeaway from all the sessions and panels that you've been visited during the forum?
Yeah, as we can see that AI is actually the very buzzword here. You can see everywhere in Davos, and on Wednesday we're still having our packed and exciting time here in Switzerland, and we can see many passions and sessions from the schedule about AI technologies. Like we can see the taking deep breath with AI and how AI can contribute to help the healthcare and also the climate change, and AI can be discussed with various topics. And so today I'm so honored to invite one of the representatives here in Davos, Mr. Mirko Wakshun here, and he's the senior partner of Kearney, the global management consulting firm. And welcome, Dr. Wakshun. And so my first question is that AI technology is one of the main focuses during the forum. So what are your takeaways from the sessions and panels here in Davos about AI?
No, many thanks for inviting me. It's an honor to be with you. I'm spending now several days here in Davos, and we had plenty of discussions, and we as Kearney, as a strategic management firm, also hosted various sessions, and there is a clear focus on AI. 12 months back, being here in Davos, it was more a kind of idea. It was a term, it was an idea around it, how to bring it forward, but now it's translated and needs to be translated into a profitable business. So companies and CEOs I'm speaking with, they primarily need to make choices. There are a lot of use cases and ideas along the value chain where to invest, but it's really about making choices where to invest and where not to invest. The second one, it's, I think, AI, it's not just about your own company, it's about the whole ecosystem around you. So it's a big question about how do you activate ecosystem partners besides you, what are the right things for businesses but also for consumers, and how to translate these into a master plan where you have a clear pathway where to focus and how to make it tangible and relevant for your company. And last but not least, it's also about reasonable ethical standards. So a tool or a kind of algorithm is neither ethical or unethical. It's about the data behind, and it's about ensuring that there is a reliable data behind, and especially if it comes to important business decisions in forecasting, in planning, or consumer choices, there is also quite an reliability and importance for the community, but also for the businesses to act very thoughtfully around this.
Okay, as you mentioned about the relations between business and AI, and as we know that Kearney just released one report recently about how business leaders foresee the AI, the impacts of AI on their work, and we know that 20 of them are getting ready to the AI transformation, and 85 of them just take the AI as the big opportunity. So how can we take on that?
Oh, absolutely. We as Kearney, we partnered with Egon Zehnder, which is the leading executive search and advisory firm, on a global survey. We surveyed more than 100 CEOs, also from China and from Asia, and we definitely looked where the CEOs should communicate about, okay, what does it mean for my own role? How does AI shape my own role? And what does it mean for my organization? And do you feel ready? And on one side, as you said, the leaders, the C-level executives, they really feel prepared for this one. On the other side, they also have big concerns that the own organization is not yet ready to make it happen successfully. It's around people, it's around resources, it's around capabilities to really translate the AI opportunity, which will be significant and which will definitely be a key driver if it comes to workforce enablement, but also certain job profiles. And that was a very comprehensive study we did globally, so everyone is welcomed to read through and go into the details and with great insights and implications on leadership. So it's important, it's not just about use cases and business decisions, it's especially also about change management and how you behave as a leader and how to bring it into action and how to also enable your organization to drive it forward.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Dr. Wang Shun. And as we can see that AI now is hitting the world and taking the world to a fast track. So in 2024, we will welcome an increasing number of commercialized utilization of AI technology, which is much more related to ordinary people like us. So we're all looking forward to it. And thank you for our guest today, Mr. Mirko Waksho from Kearney, and now from me from the beautiful Alps. And now let's back to you, Michelle.
All right, thank you so much for the update, Xu Yi, for us in Davos, Switzerland. Meanwhile, our reporter John Terrett is ready to update us with more highlights of World Economic Forum discussions in the field of AI and the development of AI in China and the U.S. So hi there, John. You know, AI, no surprise, a big word at Davos. So how has AI impacted Davos coverage?
Oh my goodness me, Davos, you know, it comes after Christmas and New Year. It's the first big business event of the year, so we pay a lot of attention to what happens there. We have our own version of Davos in America. It's called Jackson Hole. It takes place in the western state of Wyoming in the much warmer month of August, but we all love to see everybody having fun in the snow, as our picture from Davos just there was able to illustrate. Now, for us, it began on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a holiday here nationwide in honor of the civil rights leader. But terrible headlines for us to read in the morning newspapers after the IMF, in the form of the CEO, Kristalina Georgieva, giving a report saying that the IMF thinks that 40% of all the jobs in the world, 40% of all of them, will be affected by AI one way or the other. And this dovetails with the Goldman Sachs Wall Street report from March of last year, when they suggested that 300 million jobs around the world will be affected one way or the other. Now, the IMF goes further. It says 60% of developed nation jobs will be affected, 26% only of developing nations. But the IMF says that lack of infrastructure there and lack of a skill set means that those developing nations may fall back further behind in terms of growth because of AI. Now, what the IMF and Goldman Sachs are basically saying is that of these jobs, half of them are going to benefit and the other half are either going to go away completely or be diminished in some way. Now, the IMF says that AI will affect equality because it will reduce wages and it will also reduce opportunities, particularly for women around the world. The IMF is calling for crucial safety nets to be set up by governments to prevent social unrest as AI goes forward and maybe, just maybe, takes all these jobs that are being talked about. What's being done? Well, China has new rules in place to oversee the development of AI regarding algorithms. The European Union is about to introduce new laws, first of their kind in the world, but they don't kick in until 2025. The UK recently had an AI safety summit signed onto by hundreds of countries around the world. And here in America, in Washington, D.C., the Biden administration, President Biden, has signed an executive order forcing companies like NVIDIA, the chip maker, Google, and the leader of AI here, Microsoft, to share all the information that they get as they develop AI going forward so that there are no surprises, be they good or they're bad. The other thing about Davos I should report, and it's been covered widely on all the business programs this morning, is Li Qiang, the Premier of China, speaking at Davos earlier this week and talking about the Chinese economy hitting 5.2% in 2023. From Wall Street's perspective, where I am, that's slightly less than was hoped for, 5.3. But honestly, Michelle, as you know, any country in the world able to achieve 5.2% would give their eye teeth to be able to do that. Back to you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that, John Tarrant, for us. Now, my colleague Zheng Junfeng spoke to Mieszek Piskorski, professor of strategy and digital transformation of IMD Business School, to get his insights on the significance of embracing AI. Take a listen.
Embrace AI first to understand what it does, because again, I am always blown away just by how often I have to explain basic things about basic things that AI does. I mean, even with OpenAI, right, the ChatGPT, everybody has the interface that's extremely easy to use, and so you'd think people would sort of figure out how to do this, and people sort of just go on this and just play for 5 minutes and like, oh, okay, this is good, and then leave away. And I said, no,
go on with their life.
And it's like, no, just like immerse yourself, because again, otherwise you're going to have extremely shallow conversations about what this thing can do. With just kind of imagination that you might have got in newspapers that has no reflection in reality. It's only when you actually start engaging into technology and making friends with it, then you can just begin to make statements like engage with caution or engage with curiosity.
In the meantime, a high interest rate environment is another key topic for attendees at this year's Davos. In an exclusive interview with Vladimir Kazbekov, Vice President of the New Development Bank, a multilateral bank representing BRICS countries, he provides some insights on the direction of currency cooperation among member countries.
You've also, I think, earlier spoken about that there are limits to de-dollarization, and that's somewhat also, reflected in the relatively low number of disbursements in local currency. So, how is the NDB working to tackle this challenge?
It's de-dollarization. It's quite. I'm not sure you can just switch. It's a process. And the speed of this process depends on various conditions, on countries, on markets, etc. We are working in this environment. So for the moment, we feel that, let's say, as for CNY, CNY is cheaper than dollar, judging by the rates. That's why we definitely must use, as a normal bank, we can use this opportunity. Moreover, China provided for international development banks special, for like rights or special conditions. Now we can use CNY abroad and direct and finance projects with CNY outside China directly. Now we're considering first projects of that type in the member countries like Brazil. And now we can swap CNY without any limit from to USD or any other currency. And we're also considering direct swap from CNY to other member countries currency. It's, it's a very interesting period, challenging, but we see the new opportunities for NDB because we have quite, I should say, effective member countries ready to support the institution. We feel it every day in China, in India, in Brazil, in Russia, and in South Africa. In Emirates, they are very effectively ready to support NDB entrance to the financial market.
Chinese Premier Li Qiang said Ireland and China should work together to uphold a free and open international trading system and maintain the stable and smooth flow of the global industrial supply chain. Li mentioned this while meeting with Irish President Michael Higgins at his official residence. He said this year marks the 45th anniversary of China-Irish diplomatic relations, and China is ready to enhance cooperation with Ireland across various fields. Li highlighted the vast potential for mutual beneficial cooperation in areas like trade, investment, green development, and technological innovation. President Higgins said Ireland is willing to deepen cooperation to address global challenges like climate change, food security, and sustainable development, and to advance global governance reforms. Trade cooperation between China and Ireland has increased rapidly in recent years. Ireland has maintained a positive trade surplus with China for 14 consecutive years, one of the few European countries to do so. According to the Customs Authority, in the first 11 months of 2023, Ireland maintained a $12 billion trade surplus with China. Meanwhile, bilateral trade reached $20 billion in the first 11 months of 2023, with China's imports from Ireland hitting $16 billion from January to November and exports at $4 billion in the same period. Now, for more discussions on trade between Ireland and China, let's bring back Liu Zhiqin, Senior Fellow at the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies of Renmin University of China. So, Professor Liu, China is Ireland's fourth largest trading partner and fifth largest export market. What products from Ireland are in high demand in China?
Actually, in China, many buyers are very eager to buy products from Ireland. For instance, it's beef products, it's dairy products, also other various agricultural products. As we know, at the early of this year, a huge delegation from Ireland with the agricultural sections came to China, has diversified the contacts and negotiations with China, make the market research and build up confidence with each other. So this is very important for China that to buy a product from Ireland. As we know, the trading volume between Ireland and China is increasing, but also China imported from Ireland is 1/5 of total volume. So there is a bigger room and bigger space that for China to import more products from Ireland. This is also what the Irish government is willing to have the good result. So we hope that we have more chances to have deepening the trade relations with each other under mutual respect and mutual benefits.
So besides agricultural imports, what industries do you think offer the most potential for expanding trade and economic cooperation between the two sides?
As we know that China delivered different industrial products, including machineries and parts, and the spare parts for automobile, even for the high-tech and AI products, for instance. In this way, that there are many possibilities that for China to provide or to expand their cooperation with each other. Actually, from Ireland, we can also import similar products that to meet the demands in China's various industries, also for the food security, for this climate change technologies, because Ireland is very good in the green technology, green development. So from both sides, we have more opportunities and the chances to cooperate with each other. We hope that the relations will be deepening soon in this year.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your insights. Always great to have you on the show. Professor Liu Zhiqin from Renmin University of China. And that will do it for this edition of Global Business. I'm Jeva Nimberg in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.